Buddy, I mean, I don't know. Wait. Okay, we're gonna read Higurashi no naku Koroni MatsuriBayashi. Alright? Oh! I was doing some re-recording and certain other stuff. It turns out that 3 of my videos, I forgot to... If you never hear my mic, it's because I forgot. I forgot to put it back on. Because I'm stupid. I'm so irritated. Oh, so I started making Kokonia again, and no, I can't stream that. So let's continue. Alright.
Whatever is going on, Rika, you aren't behaving normally this morning. Do you think so? Am I acting strange?
Hold on, give me a moment. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm ready. Don't worry about it. I just have cough sometimes.
I don't know how to say it, but you seem much more mature today. Rika's being mature! Hanyu, don't tease me today. You too, Sadako. Please don't mess around. I don't feel like it. About a week counting from today, huh?
Sadako gave me a perplexed look. Maybe she thought I didn't feel well. I wanted to talk to Keiichi and the others, including Sadako, but I don't know how or where to begin. We like to joke around a lot, so they might not take me seriously. How can I get them to understand the danger I'm in?
Good morning to you, Chie. Oh, you're here as well, Coach. Good morning to you, too.
Good morning, Sadako. Rika? Oh my! Is that a headband for maids that you're wearing? That's against the school regulations. You'll be punished. Dr. Irie, stop acting like that at school.
Coach, Rika doesn't seem to be feeling well this morning. Might you check her over, please?
Oh, what's the matter? Did she catch a cold?
I still don't know how to tell my friends, but Irie is...
Oops, wait. I'm supposed to be reading that in... Sorry. I still don't know how to tell my friends, but Irie at least is on our side. Maybe I can talk to him more directly. If I keep thinking about it, maybe I'll still be thinking at the end of the day. Maybe I'll start with him. Hanyu nodded, as if saying it was a good idea.
Sadako, let's play a trick on Keiichi and let's do something to his chair. Please, it's a trap, not a trick. I'll teach you how to set up a trap for Keiichi.
Hanyu and Sadako clan to the classroom. Hanyu must have left on purpose. I have to use this chance she's given me.
Irie, can I talk to you in the nurse's office?
Sure, that's fine. Let's go there. Irie probably thinks I'm going to talk to him about Hinamizawa syndrome, so he agreed to go somewhere where people couldn't hear. If there's any change in my physical condition, it could be a sign of something very serious. Even if it's just a simple cold, Irie is very concerned about my health. What's wrong? Are you feeling sick?
Irie, I'm going to tell you something odd, but I want you to take it seriously. It's a very important matter.
I gave Irie the sternest look I have ever shown him as I spoke. Irie usually acts like an idiot, but he can be an adult when he needs to be. Seeing the expression on my face, Irie started to look more grave himself. How do I start? Okay.
Irie, I'm the Queen Carrier, right?
Yes, the parasite that lives in your body is different from everybody else's.
What happens if I die?
Like I told you so before, something terrible will happen. No, to be precise, we believe something terrible will happen. After all, it's impossible to verify until you die. However, several cases involving social brain parasites similar to those of Hinamizawa syndrome have shown the death of the Queen Carrier can cause mass death or riots. That would be Takano's area of expertise. Maybe you should ask her instead. I don't know much about it myself. In other words, Takano knows better than anybody that if I die, something terrible will happen. More than ever, I don't know why Takano wants to kill me. There's no way I can figure it out myself. Irie is here with me right now. Maybe he'll know. Maybe I should ask him.
Irie, please don't ask any questions and just answer. Would there be something to gain from killing me?
What? Kill you, Rika? Who would?
Irie, you aren't supposed to be asking any questions, remember?
Sorry. No, I can't think of anything. There isn't anyone who would benefit from your death. I repeat, if something happens to the Queen Carrier, all infected persons will reach the terminal stage within 48 hours. That's what makes the syndrome so dangerous. The scale of the disaster would be far greater than any individual case of paranoia or psychosis.
Would anyone profit from that disaster?
No way. Killing you is tantamount to killing all 2,000 villagers. Nobody would consider that for a minute, even as a joke.
If I die, all the residents of Hinamizawa will go insane and may even kill each other. What a perfect ending for the people who are descended from demons, huh?
Could it be that's what Takano wants? Since she always talks about dangerous and bizarre things, it's obvious she enjoys cruelty. She always talks about how she wants to witness with her own eyes the raw brutality of man-eating demons, as she read about it in the dark history of Onigafuchi village. It's possible that she wants me dead just so all the villagers will develop terminal symptoms. Of course, that's in the worst case. So if something happens to you, there's an emergency measure we're supposed to follow.
An emergency measure? I've never heard of anything like that.
I've never told you this before. It's a rather unpleasant measure, so that's why I never mentioned it. The Irie Institute's top priority is protecting the Queen Carrier, but if you die and all infected persons develop terminal symptoms, we're supposed to go ahead with this contingency plan. That's understandable. If all 2,000 villagers were to go insane, there'd be no guarantee that the devastation would remain in the village. Obviously, it's a good idea to be prepared for the worst-case scenario. There are these things called emergency manuals, and among them, the one for the worst possible disaster. In other words, in the event of your death, is called Emergency Manual 3-4.
What happens with that?
For all the villagers go insane, they'll be exterminated. To be exact, a special unit from the Self-Defense Force will seal off Hinamizawa and kill the villagers using poisonous gas.
I've never heard of that before either.
Sorry, I don't really like talking about it. I've been interested in things that happen before I die, but not in the things that happen after I'm dead. This disaster only takes place after I die. I had no idea something like that occurs every single time. Or rather, I'm the cause. If the enemy is capable of erasing an entire village, then killing a little girl like me won't be a problem at all. Hanyu was telling me just to talk to everyone, but can I really stand against an opponent like that? Anyway, the existence of this emergency manual changes everything. Takano's motive no longer makes sense. I thought her goal was for all the villagers to go mad and slaughter each other like demons, but according to what Irie said, that wouldn't even happen. The villagers will all be killed before it does. I'm not Takano, so I can't be sure, but I don't think that would be fun for her. It doesn't make sense for me to kill me for that purpose, especially since we've known each other for such a long time.
Do you think it's possible for Takano and the Mountain Dogs to kill me?
Don't be stupid! That's just impossible! Takano's number one priority is to protect you, and one of the Mountain Dogs' main duties is to watch over you. That's simply unthinkable.
Irie, even so, supposing Takano wanted to kill me, can you think of a motive for her doing so?
No, I can't. She knows better than anybody about the dangers of the Queen Carrier. Besides, as you're well aware, she's very passionate about her research into the syndrome. Killing you would put an end to that source of her passion.
But Irie, Hinamizawa syndrome is supposed to be eradicated within 3 years, isn't it? In other words, you're going to destroy the disease. What does Takano think about that?
Well, Hinamizawa syndrome is a target of treatment for me, but for Takano, it's research material. Actually, she's strongly against the plan to eradicate within 3 years, and she's even made a trip to Tokyo to request an indefinite extension of the project from the board of directors. She wasn't successful, though.
So what you're saying is that Takano wants to continue her research, but Hinamizawa syndrome is going to be eradicated within 3 years. So Takano is going to lose the subject of her research, isn't she?
I guess you can say that. I think I see something here. The Erie Institute isn't a small organization. It's being managed by a lot of people, and it receives a great deal of funding. That's the only way they could even research the syndrome. So the Erie Institute is planning to put an end to the research within 3 years. There really isn't much Takano can do about it.
If it's all going to end anyway, then maybe she wants to shake things up.
No way! Something like that can't possibly happen.
But you know how she is, right? She would do it. She would kill me if she wanted to. Don't you think?
No way. No way. Something as horrible as that just isn't possible. I feel like I'm starting to see Takano's motive, but it seems like there must be more. After all, the project will continue for at least 3 additional years. It's possible that during those 3 years, Takano's request will be approved, and their research will get an extension. In other words, the research is guaranteed to continue for a minimum of 3 more years. Given those 3 years, why is she so desperate now? Besides, I've always killed in June 1983. The date may change a bit, but the month won't. It must be the result of her strong willpower. It'd be one thing if the research was being terminated immediately. She still has 3 years, yet she's already getting desperate. Her motive is too weak. She must be possessed of the strong conviction that it has to be June 1983. After that, no matter how much I questioned Irie, he kept repeating there was no way Takano would kill me, so I didn't see how he could be of any more help. However, if I'm able to explain Takano's motive, then I think he'll be my ally, but for now, I think this is all I can do with him. I'm going to talk to Tomitake too. Tomitake is a lot closer to Tokyo than Irie is. Maybe he can tell me something Irie can't. I hope I can learn some more important things from him too, strong enough to convince him that Takano has a strong enough motive to kill me. Tomitake should be visiting Hinamizawa around this time. He spends a lot of time with Takano, but he often takes walks by himself to enjoy photographing birds too. I'll try finding him when he's not with Takano and talking to him then. Although Tomitake does have strong feelings toward Takano, I'm worried he won't listen to me as seriously as Irie did.
Thank you very much. I'm going back to the classroom. If you find out something about Takano, please let me know.
Rika, why do you think Takano's trying to kill you? You haven't developed symptoms, have you?
If you're doubting me, then would you like to run a test right now?
I said some terrible things out of the blue, though I don't blame him for becoming suspicious. However, thanks to the rapid diagnostic tests Irie had developed at this point, it was easy to prove with a syringe. I just had to submit to the needle to show that I hadn't developed terminal symptoms. The results were negative, of course. It's just impossible for Takano to... Just impossible! Maybe now Irie believes there's a possibility that Takano is trying to kill me. I left the nurse's office. I hope Irie will grow curious about Takano and try to find out something about her.
So how was it, Rika? Did you find out anything? Well, yes and no.
It's hard to... Wait, I don't know. Well, yes and no. It's hard to say, but there are a couple of interesting things. One is how Irie Institute is trying to eradicate the syndrome within 3 years. Takano doesn't like the idea. She went to Tokyo to petition for the continuation of her research, but they refused. That might cause her to become desperate. The second thing is called Emergency Manual 3-4. Supposedly, if I die, I'll be executed and the whole village will be murdered by the poisonous gas. They say that when I die, the villagers will develop terminal symptoms, right? First I thought that Takano wants me dead because she wants to see that happen. But since there's an emergency manual, the village will be long gone before then, so that can't be her motive. Every time I ask Irie, all he says is that it isn't possible. According to him, Takano understands the importance of the situation better than anybody. Therefore, she doesn't have any reason to kill me. I know. I've only asked Irie so far. It's possible we can learn more information or wisdom from other people too.
That's right. Unless we bring everyone's power together, a miracle won't occur.
We need that miracle to defeat our enemies.
It's almost lunchtime. That'll be a good chance to talk to everyone.
Though, the problem is whether or not they'll take it seriously when I talk to them. Once I start talking about the secret society, Tokyo, they'll obviously ask what manga I'm talking about. I need to figure out a good way to discuss it so I avoid misunderstandings.
I think it'll be easier to be honest with them without really thinking too much about it.
Do you really think so?
Yes. Let's just try. Tell them on the way. I'll teach you, and I'm sure they'll take you seriously and help out.
I'm still not sure, but Hanyu seems very confident. Hanyu spent her life observing various people. She's never talked to Miyun directly before this life, but she knows her better than I do. I talk to everyone during lunchtime, but in the way that Hanyu taught me. Let's see. That sure is interesting, isn't that?
That's amazing, Rika. How do you come up with things like that?
I know. You're so talented. If you work on it a little more, you can end up with a really great manga.
I don't know what to say. I thought maybe something was bothering you because you haven't been looking good since this morning. Why didn't you come to me first? See? I told you that I could count on them. Hello? Count on them, huh? It all comes down to how you put it, I guess.
This old man can create application forms, make rough drafts, ink tone, draw backgrounds, typeset, proofread, make manuscripts, printer, and publish and distribute and support. He can do it all. Good thing you came to him.
You sure are great, Miyun. You can be a cartoonist, an editor, a publisher, and a bookstore owner all at once.
Bruh, I wish I had a friend like Miyun. Really? My dad says things like that too. Is doing everything yourself in style now?
Oh, I'm curious what kind of comic Mi-chan would write. I'm curious. Hold on. You're all getting sidetracked. Let's talk about Rika, all right?
I told them all about the secrets surrounding Hinamizawa. I told them I wanted to write a comic book and I needed their help to decide on a few things. If I spoke to them about this normally, they might question my sanity, but just to see things change this dramatically with just a little preface. Hanyu, you're pretty good. Anyway, so this queen carrier dies, the village will be destroyed because of some emergency measure. That's the focus, right?
My goodness, if there really was something like that, she'd better be very careful. One mistake and poof, the whole village could disappear. We should just capture a wrapper and bubble wrap and put her in storage or something. But she gets killed, right? If they know her death will create disaster, why would they kill her? Why? That's just it. The bad people at the research center know what will happen, yet they're still trying to kill me. I mean, the Queen Carrier. I just can't think of a good explanation for why.
I kind of see an outline for the motive, though. Can they actually find a hint without knowing any of the actual details? That's so simple! The fact that the entire village gets destroyed and the Queen Carrier dies is a motive in and of itself! Mion laughed as she casually voiced what was going on in her mind.
But, Mion, this villain wants to start the research of the disease more, so there's no way she put an end to it herself. Hello?
That's not a big problem. Just set some masterminds pulling strings behind that villain. Or some villain who's trying to just use that villain. A villain who wants to use Takano? Listen. If the queen dies, the village is plunged into chaos. To cover it up, a mass execution operation is carried out. Fundamentally, this is a countermeasure against the worst possible outcome. A trump card that must never be played. Because playing it causes a disaster of its own, even if it sells the previous situation. You're right. In politics, they always talk about who takes responsibility for this and who resigns for that. If in that fact a mass execution like that was to take place, someone would have to explain that and take responsibility. Well, it's a secret operation, so I'm sure it won't be made public, but there are many people questioned within that Tokyo organization, that's for sure. Isn't that a mode for killing the Queen Carrier?
Why? Who benefits from such chaos?
There are plenty of people! Think about it. The wind always blows in one direction. For some people, it's a headwind, and for others, it's a tailwind. There's always people who gain and people who lose.
I see. My brain finds this quite stimulating. In other words, if something like that happens, there'll be some people who have to take responsibility for it, and their enemies will gain from it whoever they are. That's right. There are always different powers and factions within the organization, especially if it's a huge mastermind organization like this Tokyo. I'm sure many different people here have hidden agendas.
In other words, there are plenty of people who want to rule over others, and there's plenty of reason to assassinate the Queen Carrier.
Are you saying that even if the bad person doesn't have a reason, that there could be people who have reasons to kill the Queen Carrier in Tokyo?
There you go, you got it! Also, what about the backstory for the bad person at the Secret Research Center? She wants to keep her research going, but it's already been decided it'll end within 3 years, right? So this researcher is about to see all of her research turn to naught. That means all the fruits of her life's work are about to be ruined, and she's under extreme stress. Not only that, I think her pride must be hurt too. That's true. The value of research this bad person has spent half of her life on isn't being acknowledged by the people at the top, and they even told her that it'll be shut down within 3 years.
That must be tough. It's hard when other people deny what you worked so hard on to accomplish. Rika. Yeah, I know.
Amazing. My friends really are the best. This is starting to sound like a real motive for Takano.
So what would this bad person do then?
Of course, the first thing she'd do would be to appeal to her bosses. She's probably tried to explain to Tokyo how important and valuable her research is, and asked them not to shut it down, but well, if Tokyo had just said, yes, got it, continue your research, and we'll increase your budget too, and then it wouldn't be much of a comic. So the bosses at Tokyo are sure to turn down her request hard and thoroughly. They tell her that her work is a waste of time, and that should be scrapped immediately, or something like that. He already told me Takano had gone to Tokyo to request an extension of her research. He also said that her request was denied.
Can you imagine her anger at her having her life's work mocked by her superiors? There are then only 2 options open to her. Sadako, what are they?
That's easy. She can cry herself to sleep over it, or she can take revenge. Keiichi and Sadako give each other a high five. Well, lying down and taking it wouldn't be very interesting either. In that case, the villainous researcher who loved her research more than anyone starts growing desperate and believing that she should at least end it herself, rather than letting someone else end it for her, all because of her pride.
And that's when the hidden agenda from Tokyo comes in. No way! You mean the idea that someone will gain when the village is thrown into disaster and another is forced to take responsibility? Exactly! The villainous researcher is depressed after having her life's work rejected. But by riling her up the right way, they can cause a tragedy in the village without soiling their own hands. Then they can take their time investigating and demanding responsibility. Well done! See?
That's right! There's more. This villain is depressed after having her life's works rejected, right? So when one of the young leaders plotting to kick the other member of Tokyo down climbs the ladder and dispatches his own agent to entice this villain,
she's depressed because her reason for existing was trampled on, right? If someone tells her that he believes in her and such, she'll fall for it easily. The stronger a person's pride is, the easier they fall for that kind of encouragement.
That means the bad person is simply being used by her evil masterminds. Well, this happens a lot in action shows. You know, like how someone devotes his entire life to an evil organization, but after one mistake he gets eliminated?
But in this story, the evil researcher has to be eliminated for sure, right? For the masterminds, there's no point of letting her stick around.
That's right. So this poor bad person thinks she's got an evil little part to play, but at the end, her life's work is insulted and she gets used by masterminds. And after all of that, she gets killed. Although she's a bad person, people may sympathize for her for what she has to go through. But I guess that's what makes the story interesting, don't you think? Maybe we can use that in the next issue. Hanyu and I could only listen to them talk. They truly are amazing. They really are. It is very possible, especially if I think about Takano's character. Come to think of it, Irie kept repeating that this isn't possible a whole lot, which means that those words could be a reflection of how possible it might really be. I'm sure that my friends can answer that question. I'm going to ask them, so let's ask them.
Then why is she so desperate when she still has 3 years left?
That doesn't matter. It really doesn't make a difference if you're getting executed tomorrow or 3 days later, right? It's just a matter of the length of her probation. This bad person doesn't feel that she has 3 years left. She feels that she's been sentenced to die in 3 years. That's just what the masterminds want. They're the ones controlling this bad person. I think it's the masterminds who want to destroy the village at this particular time, not the bad person. This is a huge operation, you know. It has to succeed. The death of the Queen Carrot isn't their only key to success. Whoever's at the top has to decide to go ahead with an emergency measure. The responsibility issue after the operation aside, they have to take care of things like preparation, or rather, they have to figure out the perfect time to do the most damage. After calculating all that, I think they're going to get on with the operation now that the project only has 3 years left. So in the end, after this bad person gets used, she's eliminated. She's the villain, but I feel sorry for her.
I see. Okay, let me move on to the most important thing. To defeat them, how can the Queen Carrier Girl fight back? She's the main character in my story.
Huh, that sounds interesting. So the girl they're trying to kill has to run from the evil people, right? It depends on how you serialize it. If you want a long series, coming up with new pursuers and assassins one after another will let you go on for a long time.
If possible, we want a short-term and concentrated series.
I burst out laughing at Hanyu's metaphor. Okay then, we just have to take care of the bad person quickly and shoot for a happy ending. It's more exciting to fight than to run.
But the main character is just an ordinary little girl, right? How can she fight?
Girls nowadays aren't powerless. She may appear to be a cute, weak girl, but she has secret hidden powers. She's an S-rank hunter with the blood of royalty, and her nickname is Ebony Fallen Angel. Ebony Darkness Dementia Way.
That sounds like a lame original character from some middle schooler.
Hey, Mion, what's wrong? Do you have a stomachache or something? Fine. This old man is just not talented enough. Mion, you can do it. Though when you read the manga 10 years from now, I may be so bitter you writhe in agony.
I don't know exactly what Mion is trying to say, but anyway, the main character is a weak little girl and she doesn't have any special weapons. If anything, she's good at acting innocent. Also, she's mean and abuses me with spicy food.
That sounds good. I'll try starting that tonight. I see, so she's just a regular girl, huh? But a story-rated character like that beats such a conspiracy is going to be difficult. No way! It's impossible! She couldn't win at least gathering a variety of weapons and the skills to operate a radio and a helicopter. Either that or a professional survivalist who underwent special forces training with the Soviets. That or someone capable of causing confusion in their ranks with just a truck and a few weapons once they're in the jungle.
I have a feeling if Mion and Sadako were the main character's friends, that would solve the problem right there.
Huh? This old man? Sure, if he was a character, it changed the whole story. My fighting techniques and leadership skill are unparalleled. Plus, if the story takes place here in this village, my familiarity with this area is top-notch, too. Besides, anyone who makes an enemy of Sadako is as good as dead. Ain't I right?
I don't know what kind of secret unit this bad person has, but they're nothing compared to my traps. If the main character and I barricaded ourselves in the hills, no enemy could lay his fingers on her.
Yeah, if she holds me with Sadako in the hills behind us, their assailants will either have to have a bombardment capable of crossing the whole thing, a Hanoi-class heavy bomber at least. Even if they led with that before entering the mountain, they'd still take on severe casualties. Furthermore, I'd be commanding the operations. Well, her assailants better be prepared for the casualties on par with the Iwo Jima landing. Right, Sadako?
They better bring a nuclear warhead if they want to fight me in the hills! True, Sadako would be amazing in the hills, but are you sure you can defeat the bad person's helpers? They're professionals, you know.
Surprise attacks and traps are effective against anyone. The Vietnam War is a good example. The U.S. Army, the most powerful military in the world, couldn't stand up against the jungle. A multitude of traps set by someone who knows the area well will go a very long way.
Are you saying that Sadako's traps would work on them too?
Of course! Not only that, they'd be very effective. The purpose of traps isn't just to ensnare their victims. They also make people extremely afraid. They're professionals, so they have to be extra careful. Therefore, the commander will become indecisive. He'll have to decide whether or not to go into the hills. That means we'll gain more time. So they need at least a bombardment to capture us. But this isn't a war, so they probably won't go that far. I definitely don't think that's possible. Anyway, Mion is a professional when it comes to deciding on tactics. And she says Sadako's traps will be more than effective, even against the mountain hounds. That's very reassuring. Mountain dogs, mountain hounds, doesn't matter, okay? Yes, I improvise, I forgot. The flip side of traps is that they can only be used to defend, and it takes a very long time to set up. Also, traps don't discriminate. Sadako's hills meet all the requirements, though.
That's true. Nobody goes into the hills, and Sadako's traps are already everywhere. The main character can barricade herself in just by going there.
If I'm going to be there, it won't just be a simple barricade. I'm going to use it as a diversion to draw away the enemy's main force and launch a surprise attack. Drawing the enemy in deep and attacking from behind when their defenses are light is a rudimentary tactic for ambush and counterattack. Repelling them at the beachhead is the height of hard-headedness.
Michan and Sadako are so cool! But, Keiichi and I are left out. Then all of us will be the main characters. We'll all fight them off together.
There you go! That's better. Now that we're all in on it, it's like the club members versus an evil organization, huh? I don't know what kind of bad person this is, but I feel sorry for her and her friends. No, I don't know how powerful they are. Fighting face to face is one thing, but if we use our knowledge of the terrain, they'll have no chance of winning. If they want to defeat us here in Hinamiza, they'll need to bring an Overlord class army to bear. Though, we'll fight off even that. Mion laughed and everyone nodded along. Amazing. I'm starting to think if we try our best, we can even defeat the mountain hounds. If we fight directly, we'll be taken down immediately, even if we use a surprise attack. If we set up traps, if we have enough of them, who knows?
See, Rika? Your friends are very reliable. You're right. I don't know why I never told them anything until now. Even if it's something you can't do alone, you can do it with your friends.
Even if only a miracle can make it happen. If we try our hardest, it can be done easily. That's what a miracle is. My heart is pounding. What is this emotion? I feel like nothing is impossible if I work together with them. Hanyu told me that in a different world it would be the worst scenario of all. The one where Teppei comes home. I don't remember, but something tells me deep inside that the exact same kind of miracle is about to happen in this world too.
Me and everyone else too. We want a lot more ideas. How can we defeat this conspiracy? Please tell me a lot more.
Okay, there's something I want to say. Notice how they say that Takano is most likely disposed of. So in every world, for those 100 years where she's tried to beat Rika, and I looked at some of the extra mangas that I do have, they don't really mention Hifumi. It sounds like she doesn't really actually get what she wants. Okay? Like, think about it. Some people are like, I can never forgive Takano, but think about it. Nobody wins. When Takano wins against Rika by killing her, it's just some desperate thing. It completely pushes out what her grandpa wanted. She, like, Takano never gets to be happy. Because all she's doing is just ending everything. That's all it is. Like, when you think about it, with Umi Neko, what... Oh, shit, I can't spoil that. But there's another certain 3-4 that does a certain thing. Like, what Takano is doing is just taking 2,000 people with her in order to do at least something. But it's not like it immortalizes her. or Hifumi or anything. Like, I don't think I read the Midnight Killing arc and it doesn't really mention him. Like, they remember, like, Hinamizawa gas disaster, but they don't. It's not the same thing. It's just some desperate attempt to control some aspect. She can't have her research. She'll, like, it can't go on. She'll have it end in some way. It's like a twisted form of her grandpa's wish. Of what he wanted for her. That's all it is. It's like she's just being manipulated. That's not really what she truly wants in that sense. Ideally. That's not what she actually wants. But like, that's what she's being led to believe, that this is what she actually wants. In other words, her desire for pleasing her grandfather is corrupted into something that is for her own sake. In that sense. And like, and think about it. That's not. I don't think that would make her grandfather happy. I'm pretty sure her grandpa was nice enough. In that sense. So not only is she making herself miserable in that sense, that she doesn't actually get what she wants and she just dies. Like, she fails her grandpa every time in all those worlds. So nobody gets to be happy. It always ends in a tragedy. Okay? Like, some people, they don't like Takano. Fine, whatever. But this is what I think. And the outcome for Takano, it's not good either. Like, and Tomitaki points out, Takano, she should have never done this. She's just a regular person. But she felt obligated to do this. Like, if you hear about how, like, some parents will be like, oh yes, I want my child to live out my childhood dreams. And it's not actually what the kid wants. The kid is just doing it out of obligation to the parents. And that's exactly what Takano was doing. Like, kids want to please people who they admire or they care about. Especially, not only that, implemented with the fact that not only does she feel that way toward her grandpa, but also she feels indebted because he saved her life, and because, like, come on. I don't care if you're a Takano hater. I don't care. This is what I think. Okay? I hated Takano in the anime. Don't get me wrong. I hated her. I thought she was, like, stupid or something. But the visual novel, of course, obviously, since we've been through it together, explains it way better. And it made me like her a lot more. And, I mean, I'll tell you more as we continue reading, like, the parts that I really like. Because, like, think about it. She's killing Rika in these hundreds and hundreds of worlds. Rika dies every time. But does Takano really truly get what she wants in doing all this stuff? No. All she's doing is building a pile of regrets and also dying in misery. She acts like she's won, but she hasn't. Even then, she's still like a marionette on the stage, being ridiculed and laughed at, in that sense, by the people that are controlling and manipulating her. Anyway. I mean, and I'm not saying that she isn't a bad person, that she deserves to just go scot-free in that sense. And of course, but like, let's say you're an emotionally compromised person and you might do things out of desperation. Somebody hands you something that they shouldn't be handing you. Like, Takano isn't responsible with power. Like they say, great power comes with great responsibility or whatever, right? You shouldn't hand responsibility over to people who can't do it. Like, let's say you have a bad parent. They shouldn't have been parents in the first place. That doesn't mean that, oh yes, let's make sure that something, whatever. They just shouldn't be able to have that the responsibility to take care of a life anymore. That's it. They should only be in charge of themselves and responsible for themselves in that sense. Okay, I'm sorry to go on a morality kind of thing or whatever. But to me, I think Takano just shouldn't have. I mean, it's not like, and in that day and age, it's not like people back then were all about mental health or whatever. So it's just like, and I think Takano even points out herself in one of the fragments that she's mentally unstable, which means she really shouldn't be doing things like this. Obviously, she's never gotten therapy, so okay. Anyway, all right. Let's continue. My apologies for the tangent. I was actually going on multiple tangents in other readings, but they got muted out, so oh well. Anyway,
I only asked for Tomitake, but Irie had come with him.
Oops, let me try it again. I only asked for Tomitake, but Irie had come with him. Irie must have been bothered by what I told him this morning, but he can't come to the conclusion on his own, so he wants Tomitake to listen to me too. After saying that he wouldn't interrupt us, Irie sat down a little distance away. Okay, give me a bit. Okay. I heard from Director Irie. Why are you suspicious of Takano? She knows better than anybody that your death would cause a disaster. Besides, Takano's been good to you and Sadako, right? And to say this about her, now, don't you think that's a little ungrateful? I expected this from Tomitake. If I was in the same mood as I was this morning, I probably wouldn't have continued, but having expected this, I'm able to continue without getting upset.
Tomitake, please be honest with me. I want you to really think about it too. Of course, Takano wouldn't kill me under normal circumstances, but can you absolutely guarantee that she would never do so?
What do you mean?
Takano has devoted her life to research the syndrome. Is that true?
Yeah, just between you and me, she's the most important person at this institution. Director Irie's position is just a formality. Takano is the one who's really leading the research. This is supposed to be a secret, but the syndrome was discovered by her grandfather. Takano respects him greatly. She opened the Irie Institute so she could continue and complete his research.
So how does she feel now after being told that the project will be shut down within 3 years? Takano even went to Tokyo and requested an extension, but it was denied, right? Couldn't you say then that the meaning of her life itself is being denied? Don't you think that she's hurt?
Rika, where did you hear all that? Tomitake went silent for a moment. He must have realized I'm not just saying random things. It is true that Takano went to see the board of directors. She was evaluated extremely poorly. According to what I've heard, they ridiculed her work a lot. She was told that the research project was a waste of money. She's been acting normally, but I think she was really hurt by it, yeah.
See? So how can you be so sure that she won't become desperate thinking that her research is going to be shut down anyway?
No, not Takano. That's impossible.
That's the same thing Irie said. He kept saying it was impossible, yet he couldn't deny it completely. He repeated the same phrase over and...
Oh, wait, hold on. My bad. That's the same thing Irie said. He kept saying it was impossible, yet he couldn't deny it completely. He repeated the same phrase over and over to refute that possibility. In fact, even though we know Takano is the enemy, we can only guess at her motive. The only way to find out is to tie her down and make her confess. But there is a meaning in making Tomitake become suspicious of Takano. It's even important to do that so he'll become my ally. Of course, this is also a strategy devised by our club leader. It's a rather scary thing to imagine, but Takano won't gain anything from your death. I can imagine her becoming desperate, but she has self-control. Time heals all wounds.
Isn't it easier to deceive the heartbroken?
Deceive? What do you mean?
Tomitake, if I die, something terrible will happen, right? An emergency manual will be executed and the whole village will be destroyed.
Is that right? I had no idea. Tomitake isn't good at covering his lies. It shows he's bad at hiding things, but since he's innately honest, which makes him a nice person.
Irie told me already. I don't want to waste time, so let's be open about this, okay? The emergency manual is the last resort, so if it actually is executed, it'll be a disaster, right?
Tomitake seemed to be wondering if he should confirm the existence of the emergency manual. But the fact that Irie had already told me about it, combined with me being the Queen Carrier, prompted him to confirm it, albeit hesitantly. Yeah, it'll be a disaster. It's not easy to erase an entire village. We'll have to cross several dangerous bridges. It's not even humane, even if it becomes necessary. It truly will be a disaster.
I'll be straight with you. Someone will benefit from that situation.
No way. There can't be. There won't be any gains. It'll develop a hunt for blame, and the worst case, the problem might expand past Tokyo and into the government.
Which in case there's someone who will benefit from that commotion, isn't there? If their emergency manual is executed, there'll be someone forced to sign off on it. And afterwards, they'll start an investigation into the people who allowed the situation to get to that point. To be specific, those in charge of organizing the Irie Institute. Won't those manipulators be forced to take the blame and be driven out of Tokyo?
I'm not sure.
There's a limited number of posts. People are constantly vying for them. So it wouldn't be that strange if there was someone hoping to steal a seat by lighting a fuse on this dangerous bomb that we call the emergency manual. They would remain hidden in a safe place and smugly fill the empty sea after everything's blown up.
All this is what Mion suggested. She didn't know a thing about Tokyo, yet she struck it at its core so hard that even Tomitake was shaken. Mion is the greatest commander and strategist our club could ever have. Tomitake folds his arms and he starts to lose his cool. I think he realizes what I'm saying isn't mere nonsense. It's true that a big shot in Tokyo just passed away. He left a power vacuum. There's a political struggle going on over it. Even the Irie Institute's client, the Alphabet Project, and its board of directors had been purged and reformed. There's been a talk of immediately shutting down the research center to make an example of the Irie Institute, since it had been supported by the old faction.
So if I die and the emergency manual is executed, the Irie Institute and the board of directors behind it, as well as the faction that supports them, will be held responsible. Normally, Hinamizawa syndrome and other dangerous bombs associated with it are safe because only Tokyo knows about them. Well, when there's an enemy within Tokyo itself, Hinamizawa becomes a bomb that's all too easy to detonate.
That is something that you made up, Rika?
Is it a fabrication or is it the truth?
I don't know. But if I think about what's going on in Tokyo, I guess it's possible for some people to think things like that.
Tomitake, You are a good person. You're a very good person who believes in his close friend. So I know if I say these things to Tomitake, you'll never accept them. But I have to bring this up with First Lieutenant Tomitake Auditor for the Erie Institute.
Are you saying that it's Takano?
Yes. Her request is denied, as is her own life. Not only that, she was denounced by the board of directors, so she's very hurt. You should know that since you're always with her, Tomitake. Is there any chance that someone is seeking to use that heartbroken Takano approached her and instigated her into action? People who are hurt often open up their hearts to whoever claims to understand them. Someone like that might have approached Takano to start something that will lead chaos to Tokyo.
Tomitake insisted that Takano would never do something like that. He repeated it a few more times, but then he fell silent again. Tomitake is an adult. He must have experienced some heartbreaking events himself. That's why he can understand that Takano was very hurt. It's possible that someone is using her. I understand what you want to say. I should clear some issues first before I can truly trust Takano, huh?
Tomitake.
I'll get in touch with Bo Okinogi from the Mountain Hounds and the Tokyo office to see if there's been some suspicious reports regarding Takano lately. The Mountain Hound specialty is counterintelligence, after all.
No, the Mountain Dogs are on Takano's side.
What?
This is someone who persuaded Takano. Of course they've taken measures for the Mountain Dogs as well.
That isn't possible. The Mountain Dogs are a special counterintelligence unit. Even if there was a collaborator in the Erie Institute, it'd be very difficult to do so as long as they were attending to their duties. But the Mountain Dogs themselves were. Can that be? But
Tomitake, please look into both Takano and the Mountain Dogs. Erie is on my side, but he doesn't know too much about Tokyo.
That's true. I'm just a researcher. I know my position is just a formality for their convenience. That's why I can't clear Rika's suspicions by myself. I understand. I've been told that there's a possibility the Erie Institute could become rebellious. That's the reason why I'm here. I'll start investigating Takano and the Mountain Dogs right away.
Thank you for believing me. This is the first time you actually have.
I've been laughed away in many worlds, but Tomitake finally listened to me. He'll be a very strong ally in the fight against Takano. Also, I'm grateful for my friends who prepared me to talk to him. I got information on the current situation from Erie, had my friends analyze it, and because of that, managed to get Tomitake to listen. Just as Hanyu said, I couldn't have done anything if I kept thinking about it all alone. But after talking to my friends, things are already changing. Actually, I'm going to start into hiding Wait, let me try that.
Actually, I'm going into hiding starting today. Mio tells us a secret basis that's perfect for that.
I haven't talked to her about Mio yet, but she'll understand my request now.
So if you find anything, please get in touch with her. Starting today, please act like I've gone missing.
Understood. I think that's safest too. I'll act like I usually do, so people won't grow suspicious. Though I'll be careful, of course. Dr. Erie, please act normal as well, but always be on your guard. I understand. I'll be very cautious.
Tomitake, please be careful yourself. I have a feeling you might be assassinated within a few days.
This is the part that he's never taken seriously. Please, hear what I'm saying. Okay, I'll be extra careful. Thank you. And Tomitake turned around all of a sudden. Irie and I sensed something odd from his behavior and grew tense. Then, we heard some footsteps. We've been so careless. Did someone overhear us? Did Takano and her people hear what we were saying? I'll never forget that laugh as long as I live. Hello. What an interesting group. Dr. Irie, Tomitake, and Rika. I've been to Hinamizawa quite often, but I've never seen you three together before. Oh, hello. Oishi, huh? Is today the meeting for Watanagashi? It's still so early. Irie tried to change the subject, but obviously Oishi had heard everything. Tomitake from Tokyo is okay, but it's too early from Oishi from the police department to get involved. Things are already complicated. Why does he have to show up now? Anyway, this isn't good. Well, when I went to your house, Hojo told me you were here and I happened to run into your secret meeting. Sorry to bother you, though. The air froze, leaving only silence. The way Oishi is speaking makes it obvious he's trying to sniff things out. I bet he only heard a part of our conversation, so he can't exactly grasp what we're talking about. That's why he's trying to make us confess the whole thing. Come now, don't look at me like that. I'm getting embarrassed. Well, I brought someone with me today. Someone Rika would love to see again. I wonder if you remember Rika, because if you don't, you might even start crying. What? Who? I can only think of one person. But did he ever come here in June 1983? But who else would come visit me? Come on in! Oishi encourages a virile young man to enter. He looks a lot more mature than the last time I saw him.
Akasaka!
Thank you for remembering me, Rika. You won't tell me to go back to Tokyo again this time, will you?
Akasaka! Akasaka!
I remember how you helped me, or rather, maybe I forgot at some point, but if I forgot about it completely, I would regret it. So I recalled it. You told me to call Yukie in because I did. She avoided getting into an accident. You saved her life, and I'm here now out of gratitude. I feel like I've forgotten about it for a very long time. But now I finally remember. Sorry to make you wait for so long.
That's right, you made me wait forever, and now you show up in this final world. You waited until the very last minute. How dare you! Akasaka! Akasaka!
I'm your ally no matter what. I'll believe everything you tell me, and I'll defeat whoever is trying to kill you. Akasaka remembers some strange things as he talked to me. He remembered the sad world where he lost his wife working in the kidnapping case in Hinamizawa. He forgot about me because of the despair and only remembered her afterward. He regretted not being able to do anything for me. That memory from a different world brought Akasaka here. Akasaka calls himself my ally, and that means a lot to me, since I never thought I'd have any allies at all. I can only bury my face in Akasaka's chest and cry. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything about you having such a young wife here in Hinamizawa when your wife's back in Tokyo. Nope, don't know a thing. Oh, Oishi? No, this isn't what you think. Akasaka. Oh no. I complained that I couldn't defeat Takano alone. Hanyu admonished me. She told me if we put our strength together and all believed in the same thing, we could create a miracle. I didn't believe her. But after I talked to Irie, my friends, and Tomitake, things were getting better and better, and now Akasaka is here too. Is Akasaka supposed to be coming back? Or is this a miracle? Miracles do occur. This man never helped me even once before, yet he might be my most dependable ally, and now he's back. He's even telling me he's my ally no matter what.
See? It happens. Miracles really do occur.
You're right. We can make them happen. If we keep putting our strength together, do you think even more miracles will happen? Then, do you think we can make a miracle happen and defeat the curse of 1983?
Yes, because we can smash through June of 1983 only by putting everyone's strength together.
Hanyu, who used to just be a bystander, is now persuading me. She admonished me for pretending to fight, while I too was actually just a sulky bystander. Are you okay, Rika?
Yes, sorry about that. Seeing you brought so many memories that I lost my cool. Me.
I wiped my tears and tried to hide my embarrassment. The Higurashi continued to cry. The Higurashi had been trying to remind me of something very important. I felt like they had taught me something important, and my eyes grew teary again. I'm surprised. I didn't know you had such a wonderful boyfriend. let me introduce myself. I'm Mamoru Akasaka. I work in Case Records Room 7 of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department's Public Safety Bureau. Aren't the Case Records Room in Tokyo Public Safety Bureau a secret department on par with the CIRO? I believe it's a tough secret investigation, so that some is criticized as being the secret police. No department would be foolish enough to slap secret onto the name for the secret division. Real secret divisions have boring names meant to fool the average person. That's true for Akasaka's department too. It's called a reference room, but they don't manage documents. You seem to know quite a lot about us. I didn't think there would be someone who knows about the true identity of the Public Safety Department. Judging from the conversation we were having, I take it you have your own reasons for that. Well, I'm into stuff like that. I just happen to know, that's all. Tomitake, why don't you reveal your identity, huh? I, for one, always figured you weren't just some traveling photographer. No! That is the truth. I just like taking pictures, that's all. What a waste of this conversation is. This is the final world, after all.
Tomitake is the one who's connecting us in Tokyo, but he's my ally just the same.
RIKA! Tomitake and Irien yelled simultaneously. To them, it's an extremely important secret if some were to find out they get eliminated by the mountain dogs. But it's okay now. There's no point of continuing having suspicions and doubts. I've had enough of that. It's already obvious Tomitake isn't telling the truth, but he's still trying to deny what I just said. You're Director Irie, right? Thank you for taking care of me when I was injured 5 years ago. You really did a great job treating my wounds. Oh, now I remember. No, don't mention it. I only did my job. The Irie Clinic is also known as the Irie Institute, right? Well, I mean... Come now, Dr. Irie, it's no use. We already heard it all earlier. You're saying the Irie Institute's client is the Alphabet Project, right? I don't need to hear it from you. I already know everything. Up until just recently, Room 7 was investigating the men behind and their means for funneling the vast sums of money. The Alphabet Project was one of their tunnels. Akasaka is holding his top secret documents that he got in his hands a few days ago. This document records how certain people were given public funds from the ministries and governments for assisting with various projects. These masterminds claim that they were attempting to revitalize Japan by using the secret money and secret methods. That was a lie even amongst themselves. The masterminds of these projects were making an enormous profit off of them. If that became public knowledge, Japan would be shaken to the core and the government would be overthrown. That was what they were told, and that was the reason why the investigation was discontinued. First of all, I want to tell you one thing. The investigation by Room 7 has been shut down. We're no longer working on the case. I'm simply telling you what I found in the course of the investigation. I'm on vacation here in Hinamizawa right now. I just want to let you know that. Tomitake is still trying to hide his identity, but Irie isn't. He must have made up his mind since Akasaka already knows about the Alphabet Project. We already know they've been using tunnels to move vast sums of money to a research institute in Shishibone, known as the Irie Institute. Also, the Irie Institute has a different name here in parentheses, the Irie Clinic. It also lists the head of the Irie Institute as a lieutenant colonel from the SDF, Kyosuke Irie. A lieutenant colonel? Dr. Irie, you're in the SDF. No, I'm not. Tomitake, let me tell them. Put our clients aside. We aren't doing anything shady. Let's not hide anything. It'll only make Oishi more suspicious.
Irie is right. Oishi will help us.
I'm starting to feel like even Oishi could be our ally. That would be incredible. Tomitake finally gave in and admitted everything. In this place, I explained to them the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome, the Irie clinic that was established to research it. What's special about myself, and finally about the invisible conspiracy that revolves around it all. Oishi was very surprised to hear about all of this, but Akasaka told him to calm down, so he listened quietly. Since Akasaka belonged to a special unit, he wasn't too surprised. He kept nodding and saying that it's all very possible. This is working out great for me. Just as you say, Rika, there's a good chance that there's someone out there who are planning things like that. Oishi, what they are saying is well within the realm of the possible. This feels like a plot of a novel. But it's true. Compared to Akasaka, who has a flexible mind, Oishi is having a hard time understanding such unrealistic stories. He'll probably need at least 3 more cigarettes before he can digest what he just heard.
I think Takano is suspicious, but there's no proof. I was asking Tomitake to investigate so I can confirm my suspicions.
Oishi, can you arrest and detain Takano on a separate charge? I may lose my retirement money for that, but it could be done, I guess. There's some counterintelligence members, the Mountain Dogs, at the police station. Even if you try, Oishi, there'll be pressure from within the department. I'll conduct an investigation on Takano, so if possible, can you leave it to me? I don't want anyone to get suspicious. You're right. If Takano's investigation can only be done by Tomitake's institution, the police shouldn't bother him. But besides, I have a feeling this thing is a lot bigger than we think. Oishi, I don't mean to sound rude, but maybe you should stay out of this. Akasaka, what do you mean by that? Just like you told me earlier, you're retiring this year, right? You worked hard for many years. You're about to collect your pension. Money is important. You'll need it to pay off your house. You'll need money for life after retirement. But this hill's too dangerous to climb. My instincts are telling me that at the end of it, this case will be classified as if it didn't take place at all. In other words, unless I'm prepared to lose everything, I better pull myself out of this, right? That's what you're telling me, isn't it? Yes. I know I'm not in a position to tell you that. I've been involved in cases that are much different from the regular police work. So what I'm trying to say now comes from experience. Oishi was no fool. He was also an adult and a smart in the real sense. If he only listened to his pride, he'd yell at Akasaka for insulting him. But what Akasaka is saying is true. Oishi's pension is a big deal for him. People live far beyond their retirement. They still have 10 or even 20 years left after that. Their pension is the basis for the second life. A pension isn't ordinary money. It's very, very valuable. People receive their pension for working hard on rainy days and windy days, even during moments when their bosses is giving them a hard time. Even Oishi has mumbled on occasion that he's going to quit and look for a new job. Yet he endured and quietly did the unreasonable work asked of him. He endured far more work than his salary merited. He worked like that for a very long time, and now he's finally about to retire. He's finally about to collect his long-awaited pension. It's not about the amount of money itself. It's about having a value placed on what you've done with your life. So if one would cause a scandal, the punishment for that would be placed on his pension. One such deplorable event can erase Oishi's life as a policeman. That's not something that can be treated lightly. Akasaka is still young. Even if he loses his job, he'll be able to find a new one. But Oishi is too old. The repayment of his mortgage was planned around his pension. Oishi is a grown-up's grown-up, and that's why he can't do anything reckless. Akasaka knows that, and that's why he said Oishi should back down. Oishi understands it too, so Akasaka had to ask him that tough question, in order to find out how strong Oishi's commitment was. I've been awfully slow paying back my loan, all because I wanted to hold on to some spending money. Even though I would have saved on interest, I just paid a bit more early on. I just wanted to gamble and drink. If I lived my life so I didn't have to spend money on my pension in my old age, I could jump right onto this case. Oishi's fists were trembling. That's how he sheds his tears. But, I'm an officer until the moment I retire. Now, that doesn't even matter. I promise in front of his grave. I promise that old man I find out who killed him. I promise to stay a police officer until I arrest this murderer. In other words, me being a police officer isn't the issue here. What matters is I keep my officer spirit until I find that murderer, even if I'm fired. But am I afraid to be fired? Am I afraid to lose my pension? Yes, I am! It'll ruin my plans for my future, and I need a lot of money for them. My dream is to live a leisurely life in Hokkaido and work on a vegetable garden and have fun on Susukino and take a ballroom dancing lessons. But why am I afraid? Is my officer's spirit so weak as all that? I dreamt of uncovering the truth behind the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, and the door to that truth I sought for so long is right here in front of me. Damn it. God damn it, why can't I just throw away my badge? Why can't I just stop caring about what the police think? Nobody could say anything in response to Oishi. He's at the crossroads of a person who has worked so hard and so humbly for so long. How could the young people who know nothing about what he's had to go through say anything at all? You are a friend of the departed construction site manager, right? Yes, he was a friend, a brother, and a father to me. Although it's only a formality, I am the director of the Erie Institute. If the conspiracy that surrounds Rika is exposed, I'll be the one who takes the blame. Isn't that right, Tomitake? His position exists for exactly that purpose. The Institute as a whole, Erie, is simply there to cover for Takano's research. Tomitake, of course, knew about that, and even Erie has started to realize it. Even if Erie hadn't done anything wrong, he would have to take the blame as the person in charge of the Institute. That's how every organization purges itself, by forcing someone to take the blame and reshuffling the members. That's why leaders get more money. When it's all over, I'll tell you everything about the series of mysterious deaths. I actually have an obligation to remain silent for the rest of my life, but you'll let me tell him, won't you, Tomitake? I didn't hear anything. As an honest man, Tomitake can't say yes, so pretending to ignore it was the best he could do. No, that's not right. You can tell the brave Kuroda Oishi about it, the one who found out the courage to help you. The cowardly Kuroda Oishi, the one who didn't want to lose his pension, doesn't deserve to hear the truth. He faced a dilemma. Even though the truth behind the mysterious deaths he sought so hard was right in front of him, he couldn't just accept it with his head held high. To understand what he's going through, one would have to live the life he did. His dilemma is very vast and very heavy. Young people couldn't possibly understand. Can I have some time to think about this? I really do want to find the truth and put evil behind bars. I just need some time to gather my courage. Could you grant me that? Why is he even asking? Nobody here will force him to make up his mind. Of course. I won't either. Oops. I was supposed to read in Rika's Inberg Castle's thing. Sorry, my bad. However, Oishi needs someone's approval. Oishi is still passionate about his work as a police officer, yet he isn't brave enough to take on this case. He wants someone to forgive him for that. But nobody can do that, and nobody can stop Oishi from crying.
Yes, I will grant you that time.
Hanyu, how long has she been here? Hanyu has arrived and I didn't see her come in, but then again she's always around. Hanyu is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa after all.
I'll grant you some time to make your decision. You have been honest, and you have been tough unto yourself until today. Your life is not to be taken lightly, and that's why you're having such a hard time deciding. One should never be proud of careless decisions or brute courage. A careful judgment made by a person who's lived a worthy life like you, that's what's worth being proud of.
She might sound arrogant to us, but that is exactly what Oishi needed to hear. Right? Who among us has the right to admonish Oishi, the eldest one here? No one. No one should be able to. Nobody but one. The one who has been protecting humans for over 1,000 years. Hanyu.
No matter if you decide calmly or courageously, I will praise you, as long as your decision was made well.
I've never met you before, but thank you. That makes me feel better. Thank you for giving a coward like me the time of day. If it was me, I would have asked Oishi to be my ally and asked him for help. But that wouldn't have reached his heart. Wanting to help was my selfish request. I don't know anything about the life he lived, and that's why my words wouldn't reach him. But Hanyu's words did. Hanyu has never told me this, but I can tell she's been watching Oishi since the day he was born. She's been watching all that he went through. That's why she can say that. And that's why she said she could reach him. Only Hanyu can do that. Dr. Irie, there's only one thing. Please tell me one thing.
Sure. Ask me anything.
I long suspected the Sonozaki family pulling the strings on the Earl man's murder case. Am I right to think that?
No, you are not. You're wrong. We can explain everything,
about the mysterious series of deaths in Hinamizawa. I see. Oishi pretended to scratch his head. For so long he pursued the case in that belief, yet someone deeply involved was telling him he'd missed the mark, so he must be feeling at least some frustration. What Irie said wouldn't be enough, so I have to continue.
Oishi. None of the curses of Oyashiro were done in secret by the villagers. The Sonozaki family, the 3 families, and other villagers, none of them are involved.
There are only misunderstandings, misinterpretations, coincidences, tragedies, and comedies. The real identity of the curse of Oyashiro is simply a series of misinterpretations. It only looks like the villagers are acting in secret. So all the information I gathered so far about the Sonozaki family is worthless?
The heads of the Sonozaki family have a secret precept. They must always act as if they command in disasters. The Sonozaki family knows nothing. Moreover, they're even afraid of the incidents that occur every year. But in order to maintain their dignity, they act as though they are the ones behind everything.
Oh my goodness, I see. It all makes sense now. If that's true, then that Oreo woman, damn it, she sure said some things to mislead me. You're telling me the truth, aren't you?
Yes, I am. It's written in the Fruity family secret scrolls, too. Do you want to see?
I have no idea what Oishi thinks is so funny. Nobody here can tell what's going through Oishi's mind. Except the girl who's watched over human beings for over 1,000 years.
I can understand why you're so happy.
What do you mean?
The thought that you don't have to hate anyone anymore is a very, very welcome concept.
Oh no, the Sonozaki family still is a vile organization with its claws all over Shishibone City. That doesn't change. I've been stabbing one of them before, you know. They may not be responsible for the mysterious deaths, but they are still my enemies. That's all still true, but I just feel happy. None of us can tell if what Hanyu is saying is right. Oishi believed the Sonozaki family was behind it all, and now that he's learned that they're not, I'm sure he feels like everything he stands for has been made meaningless. But if Hanyu says that's not the case, to hate someone must be such a painful thing. I can't explain Oishi's laughter. All I can do is speculate. It is a tough thing. Okay, give me a moment. Oishi left with a cigarette in his mouth, saying that he wanted to cool off a little. We won't get anywhere until we know if Takano is guilty or not, so we won't be able to act after we hear the report from Tomitake. I don't know why Rika is so suspicious of Takano. Personally, I feel bad for her. What she said makes sense too. Rika's an important person, and we can't let anyone suspicious get near her. Tomitake is making it sound like he's going to prove Takano's innocence. I guess I can't blame him since he's in love with her. To be honest, I'm also hoping that Takano isn't guilty. Takano understands me, and she was one of my allies. I had a friendship with her. I trusted her for over 100 years. But Hanyu says Takano is guilty. If something pops out when we poke her, the question is how well Tomitake can catch it. To get people to help me, I have to find proof of Takano's guilt, so I just have to trust Tomitake for now. Tomitake, please be very careful. If she's guilty, you'll be in danger too. I understand. I'll move to a new hotel without letting the Institute know. I should probably leave Hinamizawa immediately, but Takano is guilty. That would backfire. That's pretty tough, yeah. It's a cardinal rule to act normally during a secret investigation. Would you prefer to stay with me? No, that's alright. It's fine. I'll be very careful. But Rika's safety is the priority here. What should we do?
What should we do?
Hanyu, what should we do?
Using chess as an example, you're like an unprotected king. As soon as Takano gets a hold of you, it's game over.
One of the most important rules in chess is to guard the king first, right?
Yes, today's Thursday. Watanagachi's in 3 days. You need to hide somewhere where nobody can find you, at least until then.
Any idea where?
I think you should ask Mion.
That's true. The Sonozaki family's underground storehouse would be an ideal place to hide.
Sadako should go with you too.
If I leave Sadako behind, they'll question her about my whereabouts. She may be in danger too. That means I have to tell the truth to at least Sadako and Mion. That the comic plot we discussed wasn't just fiction. Still, I always seem to underestimate their reliability, which is beyond my imagination. I need to talk to them. I have a feeling they'll believe me. They're my steadfast allies after all.
We're going into hiding in a while. There's a perfect place for that at Mion's house.
Will you really be safe there?
Yes, it's like an air raid shelter. It is everything we need. We can easily stay there for about a month.
The Sonozaki's family's underground storehouse has every basic necessity, in case someone actually had to live there due to some complication or another. Mion has mentioned before that it's like a unique vacation house. I don't know how you can call a place with a torture room a vacation house, though. I don't know how long my investigation in Takano will take place, but as soon as I find out something, I'll call Mion's house. Is that okay?
That works fine.
To tell you the truth, the mountain dogs have a bug on Rika's home phone for security reasons. It works better either way.
So somebody has been listening to all my personal conversations?
No, it's set up so they can tune in, but that doesn't mean they're listening to every normal conversation. They only do it when they have a security drill. It happens a few times a year. I bet my phone at the clinic is being wiretapped too, huh? Well, yes. That's because of the purpose of the facility, though. Please understand. Excuse me, how do they actually do that? Rika's landline branches off. Do you remember the little shack behind the shrine? The line leads into there, and that's where they wiretap it. Usually there's no one there, but once the mountain dogs receive the orders to guard, there'll be 2 agents recording conversations in there all the time. Of course, they don't actually record anything. Is this a security drill scheduled in the near future, or maybe orders to guard her? Security drills take place in January, April, July, and October. So there's no drill this month. Orders to guard are only given when they anticipate an emergency, but they haven't been given even once since the institute has been established. Who gives those orders? The director does, which is me, but Takano is a surrogate director, so she can send out orders too. Takano really is the person who wants to kill Rika. She'll use the mountain dogs to spy on her. That's very possible. In other words, if people start to go in and out of the shack, that means Takano has made her move. So we can take that as proof that tensions are building around Rika, right? I don't know if that would prove that Takano is behind it, but we can take it as a sign that danger is approaching. Indeed. Regardless of whether Takano is guilty or not, that's what it means. As long as we keep our eyes on the shack, Rika will stay safe and secure. That's a great idea.
But there is one problem, Rika. If there are no lights on the house at night, it'd be obvious to everyone that no one's home. Takano doesn't even have a wiretap to your phone. As soon as she sees the house, she'll realize you're skipping school and ran away.
You're right, and that puts Tomitaki, who's investigating Takano, in a tight spot. We'll have to think of something to counteract that.
So we're dealing with having to observe a wiretapping shack like Akasaka was saying earlier. Then there's the problem with having to keep the lights on at your house. It's also the fact that it's better for Akasaka to stay in the village. If I put all 3 together and mix them up, I get... I have an idea!
Oh no, you aren't thinking about letting Akasaka stay at my house, are you? No, absolutely not. My house is such a mess, it smells and it's filthy, and I can't let Akase in there. No!
Akasaka is staying over!
I said no! No! Why are you making such a fuss, Rika?
I lost my cool there for a moment. Pa.
Jeez, just because Hanyu's insisting, okay? It's true that if Rika's house ends up empty, there won't be any lights on at night. And leaving them on would be even more suspicious.
Akasaka? What do you think it's staying at my house while I'm gone?
I see. That's a great idea. As long as it's okay with you, Rika, let's do that. Akasaka seems to think it's a pretty great idea. Am I selfish for wanting him to get a little embarrassed about staying at my house? I should be ashamed of myself. Ow. Everything is said. Tomitake is going to get in touch with his colleagues in Tokyo and start an investigation on Takano. That's all. That's all we can do from our end. Irie is going to lead his normal life. To act normally after something like this is pretty difficult. But there really isn't anything else for him to do now. Takano's sly. She'll never let Irie ruin her plans. Actually, Irie only comes after the picture after Takano's been exposed. Oishi didn't say he would help, but he said he wouldn't interfere with us. In fact, there are some people with ties to the Mountain Dogs at the police department too. It's probably best if Oishi acts normally like Irie is. I'm going to tell Sadako the truth and hide at Mion's house for a while starting today. I don't know how long I have to hide, but at least it'll be until something happens. Akasaka's going to stay at my house and make it look like I'm homesick. If something happens, coming all the way from Okinomiya would take too long. It feels much better to have him stay in the village. Everything will begin only once Tomitake finds out something. Irie says that he hopes things will get moving soon, but I don't think we need to worry about that. They'll try to kill Tomitake on the night of Watanagashi, on Sunday, 2 days from today. That has never changed in many, many worlds, so that's definitely their plan. In other words, even if Tomitake doesn't find anything, the wheels will start turning in 2 days. I warned Tomitake again to be extremely careful, but still. If I still get killed, I'll curse your family for 7 generations after I die. It's already getting dark. Everyone went home except for Akasaka, and I'm still thinking about how to tell Sadako about Akasaka, and also about what's to come.
Worrying about it won't solve anything. Rika, you have a bad habit of underestimating your friends.
But how can she believe what we talked about at school today is actually real? How can she believe me when I tell her life's in danger? In addition, I'm bringing home this guy she's never met before.
Don't you think Sadako would believe you?
I don't know, but it's possible that she won't.
Oh, so Sadako isn't your friend, is she?
What? What Hanyu said just startled me, and it was kind of scary to hear, even when she said it with her usual warm smile.
I know Sadako is one of us. I think she'll believe you and will become your ally against Takano. But you're saying you can't trust her. That's like saying Sadako isn't your friend. If she isn't even your friend, then why waste your time telling her about it? Ow, ow, ow. Let's just leave Sadako behind and go to Mion's house by ourselves, just the 2 of us.
What are you saying? That's nonsense. Sadako's my best friend and...
If you don't think it's worth telling her the truth, then that's it. You just think a best friend is like a stray cat that you feed every day. I'm actually surprised to learn that you've been letting Sadako live with you when you still think of her like that.
I didn't say that. Sadako's my best friend. My very best. Yet she's even closer to me than you are.
But you don't believe that she will believe. It's the same as spouting your complaints at a stray cat that you feed every day. You know the cat can't do anything, and knowing that you still complain to her. That's all your relationship is. Ow, ow, poor Sadako. She believes that you're her best friend, but you don't feel the same way. Ow, ow, ow.
Damn you! I tried to slap Hanyu, but I couldn't touch her. My hand went through her cheek, and it only hit the air. I can't believe she made herself incorporeal again. Hanyu disappeared, saying ow ow in a teasing manner. I'm upset, but I can totally understand what she was getting at. Will your roommate agree?
I'll make her agree. Sadako has nothing to do with this conspiracy, but since she lives with me, she's going to end up involved anyway. For Sadako's sake, I have to explain this to her.
Should I wait outside?
No, I think it'll be better to have you with us so she doesn't think it's a joke. If I can't explain it properly, can you help?
Sure, I will. Okay, we're going to stop that right there for now. Alright, good night. Bye.